So I posted a video about a week ago telling y'all to, listen to God when He speaks, regardless to your situation, to what it looks like or feel like. If God tells you to move. Well, I'm just doing another video today for those who's thinking, oh yeah, well that's easier said than done. Or for those who wants to check my credibility and be like, what you know. Those who don't know my walk or don't understand my walk. Well, baby, let me tell you today, all I have is faith. I don't have nothing else in this world to stand on. So I have to rely on faith. And that's how I get by. Trust me. Well, I'm also one who seek God's instruction. I seek His face, and I go to Him for permission. Now, back in the day, I used to just move on my own accord. I would come and go as I pleased, and I would do what I had to do in this world with no remorse. I was just living, right? But things has changed now. You see, I learned to rely on God and to obey God. That's just my walk, though. But we're not going to get too much into that right now. What I want to talk about right now is one of my faith testimonies. Now, this is one of many, but I'm going to go and share this with y'all, right? So, back in 2022, God spoke to me. He told me to start looking for a car. At the time, I didn't have one. No, I did have one. And I was so disgusted with it. I wanted something else, right? And God knows what I was dealing with, right? He loved me. Well, anyways, God told me to start looking for another car, knowing that I did not have what I needed to get that car, such as the finances, such as the credit, and all those things, right? I just wasn't up to par with that. But baby, God is a God of no limits. Let me tell you, He told me to start looking for another car. And I went and I did just that. And let me tell you, I'm going into all these different places, y'all, and they just denying me left to right, y'all. I am checking my pre-qualifications online, sending in those applications, y'all. They just denying me. But I'm looking for man to accept me, to tell me that I'm pre-qualified when God already told me that I'm qualified, right? Let me tell you about favor. Well, anyways, so I end up checking out. Now, I was living in Lafayette at the time, Lafayette, Louisiana. And again, I check online. I, brought my feet into these dealerships, and they telling me no. And I was just, I ended up going checking out Enterprise for their used cars, right? And I set up an appointment, and this one was in Baton Rouge. 40, it was like 45 minutes away from where I lived in Lafayette. 45 minutes to an hour, right? And listen to me now. I've been getting denied, but because God told me to go and do it, I kept on going. So I was getting denied in Lafayette, going into the dealerships in Lafayette. I was getting denied sitting down on my sofa, sending those applications. But again, because God told me to go, baby, I'm on go, right? Y'all, I drive. My kids and I, we drove all the way to Baton Rouge. And as I'm driving there, I'm like, God, look, the way I'm driving there is not the way I'll be driving back. Now we get over there, and it's they working with me, and they trying to find me something. Well, needless to say, I left out of there in my car. Y'all was so happy, y'all. A Nissan Altima. What was it? A 20? It was a 22. No. What year was that? Well, anyways, I can't remember. Man, I can't remember. But it was a new car, y'all. And that was like the nicest ride that I had ever had. And y'all, I was just so overwhelmed with the glory of God. I was just so happy with my new baby. And look, y'all, let me tell you, we get home, and like 2 weeks later, let me tell y'all, we are still getting these denial letters in the mail. My kids and I, we're opening them up, and we read them, and we laughing because the devil is a liar. You see, man said no, but God say yeah. So, and I let my kids in on what's going on because my children gonna understand God at an early age. They gonna learn early what I learned late, right? So look, we tearing them up and we laughing because man can say anything, but baby, when God speak, that's all we need to hear. When God say go, baby, we on go. And I just wanted to share that with somebody today. Look, when I speak, I would advise y'all to listen because I speak from experience and I speak with the Holy Spirit tell me to speak. Now that's not saying that I'm a perfect person or nothing, but what I'm telling y'all is I have testimonies, I have experience, and I have wisdom. And I'ma only send y'all the right way. Okay?